So a question that I get often is, how do you customize strategies, for my situation? And that's a great question. So what I tell clients is, the way I customize strategies is first, I do a deep fact find. I learn everything I can about your business. I start with, what's your top line revenue? What are your expenses? If you have cost of goods, what's your cost of goods sold? Who do you have on payroll? How many employees do you have? What's your total payroll number? What's your bottom line? What's your overhead? Are you paying rent? Do you work out of your house? If you're paying rent, do you own the building that you're renting out of, or are you paying it to a third party? Tell me about your family situation. Do you have a spouse? Do they work in the business? Are they a stay-at-home parent? Do you have kids? I ask a lot of questions, and then clients obviously tell me their story. They tell me how they got started, how long they've been in business. We talk about the type of customers that they have, who their target market is. Are they local to the geographic area? Do they work with clients around the country or maybe even around the world? So when I go to make a specific tax strategy and plan for a client, I can't do that until I get to know you, right? And then I ask you, what are your pain points? How much money did you pay in tax last year? How much did you pay to the state? How much do you traditionally pay? Do you make quarterly payments? Is it all coming out through payroll? These are the types of questions that I ask. And then I ask, what are your goals? Because ultimately this tax plan, it's not for me, and it's certainly not for the government. It's for you. I want to know, what is your pain point? What would you do if you had an extra 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 plus, and not having to write that dollar amount to the IRS, but you actually got to keep it? Would you take your family on a vacation? Would you reinvest it back into your business? Would you put money into your retirement account? Would you bonus out your employees? I have a client who I gave them a very frank choice. I said, listen, we can either implement a strategy and you can bonus out your employees upwards of $500,000, or you can give it to the IRS. Either way, you're writing that check. So who would you rather give it to? Your employees, and build loyalty and satisfaction, and have employees who are happy to come to work for you, which will ultimately make your business a better business for their customers? Or do you want to give it to the IRS, who's not going to really give a crap? They're just happy to get the money. Obviously, my client chose to give it to their employees. And so, this is what I do. I ask clients, what's important to you? This particular client wanted to reward their employees, and I found a tax strategy that would help them do that, save them money in taxes. And that's what I do. I find out what is important to you. What are your pain points? How much money are you spending in taxes? And I ask them to dream a little bit. What would you do with that money that you didn't have to write to the government this year? For my one client I just told you about, it was rewarding their employees. For some, it's, I want to help my kid, pay for their college tuition. For others, it's maybe buying that fancy sports car that they always wanted. Maybe it's reinvesting back in their business. I met with a mechanic, auto shop owner the other day, and he was talking about how he really needs to reinvest back in his business to buy certain tools and equipment to make him more efficient. With the tax planning that I'm able to do for him, instead of giving that money to the government, he's able to now buy that equipment that he needs for his business. So everybody has different dreams and goals of what they would do with the money if they were to, able to save it. And when working with me, you will be able to save that money, and I can help you attain some of those dreams. But all of it comes down to customization. What's your specific situation? What's your pain point? What type of business are you in? What's your revenue? What's your expenses? What's your bottom line? I spend at least 30 to 45 minutes with a client diving deep into what their situation is. And then I can create a tax plan that's customizable to them to help them achieve their goals. And that's how I work with clients.